Hey man.
Hey man.
Oh yeah. Hey man.
Hey man.
Hey everybody, and welcome to Hey Man. I'm Josh.
I'm Jacob.
Hey man.
Hello.
First of all, everybody, thank you so much for joining us. I want to just tell you how grateful both Jacob and I are for all of you who listen and watch and follow, who are growing this podcast with us. In August, Hey Man will officially be changing. In August, Hey Man will officially be changing to Generation Wolf. We'll be having more guests and definitely focus in on some generational conversations that we have naturally anyways.
Yep.
But that since it seems to be what ignites the most spirited conversations between the two of us.
For sure.
And so we're excited about that. We're excited about our upcoming dates. When you hear this particular podcast, we will be in Albany, New York.
Albany.
Albany, June 13th and 14th. Me, Jacob Wolf, Lee Hyatt.
Like Hyatt.
And the weekend after that in Louisville.
Louisville. I need a sound deck. I swear.
Dude, that would be amazing.
Just for when we like if you said something that's like kind of sad, I would just be like, blah, 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 blah. I need a soundboard, bro. I swear to God, that would be so funny. And just have them labeled like things like sound
Super
effects.
funny.
Dude, let's think about it.
But Jacob and I will be in Louisville with Sandy Danto.
Sandy.
And remember, Friday night show, mushroom shows, and Saturday night show, we always give away a guitar. And so come out and check us out. ComedianJoshWolf.com for tour dates. The next tour date won't be until the end of July. We're in Naples, Florida. And then August, we hit the ground running every weekend through December.
Yep.
The only weekends we'll be taking off is Labor Day, Halloween, Thanksgiving, Christmas.
No. Christmas is going to be a good weekend to take off.
Yeah. Good weekend to take off. We will be working Hanukkah though. So
Chanukah.
Dude, last night, I did a stand-up on the spots, which is a show with Jeremiah Watkins. And Jeremiah, basically what happens is the audience just screams out topics.
Mm-hmm.
And you have to write jokes about the topics in the moment. It's so different than a crowd work, because crowd work, I can basically pick whatever I want to talk to you about.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
And I've been doing stand-up long enough where I can manipulate crowd work into being funny.
Right.
You know? This is so different.
It's
you get a topic and you just have to write a joke about the topic on stage in the moment.
It's very improv based. It's like
it's all improv based.
Right. But like, you know, I've never seen an improv show live before.
Yeah.
The only thing I can think of is that scene from Ted where in the back and they're like, just give us a place, give us a topic. Your mom's house.
Yeah.
Okay, all right, very funny. Settle down. Give us an event. 9/11. All right, can somebody get those guys out here?
Dude.
Like, that's what I think of when I hear improv. But like Jeremiah, that's what it feels like is one of those kind of shows. But you're not like acting.
It
you're just
is, but
jokes.
it isn't. The improv show, you're doing scenes. You're giving a topic, a scene, and two people are talking. And anytime you have two people talking, it's easier to lead each other down a funny road.
Right.
This is, you have to take those terrible topics. Like somebody, when I was on stage last night, screamed out butthole tattoos. And so I have to figure out a way to discuss that in a funny way, you know? And so last night I was on stage and somebody screamed out Jeopardy, but I thought they screamed out Japperteenth.
What is that?
So I said, what is that? I said, did we make up another day for people? Is this for the Japanese people? Did we give them Japperteenth? Is that happening next month?
How did you get Jeopardy to Japperteenth?
I was a little high. It was sound, you know my hearing, dude.
But dude,
So
there's
Japperteenth.
there's
Japperteenth.
It only sounds like there's three similar letters in those two words.
Listen
Jeopardy,
to me. Listen to me. for distance.
Japperteenth.
Ready? Jeopardy. So I thought she said Japperteenth. And so last night on stage, I made up a holiday for the Japanese people called Japperteenth.
Okay.
Where we celebrate. Hilarious. Are you kidding?
Awesome.
Dude, this is what I love. Okay. We went too far into woke. Okay. And this is what has born where we are now. We went too far into woke. I always said, this is so stupid. People should be able to make jokes about anything. To me, there's zero things off topics. I think it's all about making the right joke. Is it funny? Then let's laugh together. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So there are so many people who are expert level at making uncomfortable things funny. And I think there should be zero things off limits. I do think there may be time limits on some, like if somebody dies, or I understand being sensitive about that. I don't subscribe to it. To me, a funny joke is funny no matter what. You can still be sad and be like, that was fucking really funny.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yep. But I am happy that we've drifted back to like, look, I'm gonna make these jokes.
Yeah.
If it hurts your feelings, that's really your issue, not mine.
Right.
And I can also make jokes. Here's the thing. I can make joke about something and not believe it and still make a funny joke.
Fair enough.
This is possible. Like, dude, that's why racial jokes, jokes about fat people, gay people, whatever. Dude, you're making a joke about the stereotype. I may not believe it, but I still be able to make a funny joke about it.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely.
Just because I make a joke about it doesn't mean I believe it.
Yeah. No, that's fair.
Sometimes you're just being the comedian on stage who's making jokes.
Yeah.
So
some jokes are taken too literal.
Yeah. Come on. So last night, the Jackpot. I can't wait for that clip to come out. I was so incredibly happy with it. But that show with Jeremiah, and Jeremiah is the expert level improv guy. There's
he's so funny.
Zero people better. If you ever get a chance to go see that show, it's so much fun.
Yeah.
So much fun. And so we were there last night. But dude, excuse me. I wanted to ask you, have you seen Sinners?
No.
Okay. So I just saw it at the house.
Okay.
And let me just preface this by saying, I've gone on record, right? I think Deadpool Wolverine was not just overhyped. I think it was objectively a bad movie.
Right. I never saw it.
Objectively bad. Ryan Reynolds and the Deadpool character were so unlikable by the end of that. So swarmy. I get the fucking straight to camera, but the best thing about that first Deadpool, which was an A+ movie.
Oh yeah.
Was he used that shit sparingly.
Yeah. He didn't do it all the time.
I tell you, it was such a masturbatory, fucking ego-driven shit pile of a movie. But it goes to show that there is such a void for good movies.
Yeah.
That this was just like, what? It's Ryan Reynolds and Hugh Jackman and a bunch of other stars. Fuck yeah, I'm going to jerk off in this movie.
Probably.
And
you saw the popcorn bucket they made.
Dude, yes, dude. And look, I get comic book nerds, and I am a bit of a comic book nerd.
Yeah.
Dude, I collected when I was growing up. I see every movie. Dude, I have seen every Marvel movie multiple times.
Have you seen the
Thunderbolts? I'm waiting until it gets to my house.
Oh. Wait until it gets to your house.
On
a streaming platform.
Yeah.
I was like, what? It's fucking, they're delivering it to your crib?
They deliver it to my house.
What the hell?
So I don't get, no, I get it. I love all Marvel. And I'm going to go as far, I go see all the DC movies too. I
don't waste my time with
dude, I love superhero shit. You know, I love superhero shit. I love dragons. If your movie has a superhero or a dragon in it, your boy's going.
Good chance you're going. Did you go see Dungeons and Dragons?
Yes, dude.
Did you actually?
I saw it in the theater and at home.
Was it good?
I really liked it.
Well, I mean, you watched it twice.
But here's another thing, okay? This is what I mean. So I'm so bummed out because Dungeons and Dragons to me was underhyped. So I didn't go in being like, and I was like, I was pleasantly surprised.
Yeah.
So I think a lot of times what happens is the hype, whether it's under or over, changes my perspective going in and really alters how much I enjoy the movie. Because if I'm like, this is what happened with Sinners. I'm gonna tell you right now, guys, I liked Sinners. It was a good movie. But all the stuff this is the best fucking movie. I've never seen a better movie. It was a good movie, but
Yeah, you know what's funny? I feel the same way about Get Out. And by the way, this is not a shot at anyone.
By the way, Jacob, are you saying you just don't like all black movies? Is that what you're saying?
Hey, you said you didn't like Sinners either. What are we talking about?
I didn't say
Wait, no, hold on. You can't.
Don't like Sinners.
By the way,
I said I liked Sinners. It was a little overrated.
That's how I felt about Get Out.
Okay.
Is what I'm saying.
So you're saying
like
you don't
father,
like black
like
people.
son. So relax, because you had one and I had one. So if anything's happening, we're both racist.
But I threw a white one in there too.
A white one?
Yeah, Ryan Reynolds and Hugh Jackman. That's a white one.
Oh yeah, that is a white one. That is a white one. That's no, but look, Get Out was a good movie. I enjoyed it. It just with the hype going into it was so very like. Again, this is the best movie that's ever been made. He's 1 for 1. By the way, great movie. I think it was a good movie. I just thought it was a little predictable. Is all. I kind of saw every step of the movie coming. Does that make sense? Like I knew that the family was going to trap him into something. That was pretty obvious. Kind of from the get-go. And then, I don't know, like everything that happened after just seemed to kind of fall into place. But it was a great movie. It was shot beautifully. Like, I think, like, mood-wise, the whole movie, even though I kind of thought I knew what was happening, still suspenseful, still great to watch, still great acting. Nothing wrong with the movie. I just thought it was a little
You don't like black people.
and a little predictable. I have black friends, relax.
Dude, that's the most racist thing anyone can say.
Yeah, I know.
Listen, I would disagree with you vehemently on that because it was so different of a horror movie.
Yeah.
Horror. I'm really pronouncing that.
Yeah. Every time I say horror movie, you're like, horror movie?
Well, because you speak so quickly, you're like, that's a horror movie. I'm like, a horror movie?
Well, no one says horror movie. They say porn. So
you say horror, and I think, that's not what you say. You go horror
movie. Let's go see a horror movie.
Yeah, you don't. You go horror movie.
I said horror.
You do now. You add a little. A lot of times it's one syllable. You just go horror.
No, you just don't hear the second syllable.
What?
Because you're deaf. We've already gone over that. Can you hear me?
Which syllable?
Which ear can't you hear me out of?
I can hear you out of both ears.
Only because you have headphones on. If you were turned one way without the headphones on, which way could you turn?
I could hear you out of both ears. The left ear is a little worse than the right.
We should go do a professional ear cleaning.
Okay.
Maybe it's just clogged. Maybe you just got a bug in there, like mom's brother.
Bug?
Yeah, remember mom's brother Brett? He had a
cousin
got a cockroach crawl in his ear?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I definitely don't have a cockroach in my ear.
How do you know, Devin?
Because he felt it crawling around in his head.
Fair enough.
Dude, by the way, I would never sleep again. It crawled into his ear when he was sleeping.
Yeah, he slept with pantyhose over his head
until he was 15 years old, and then he figured out he couldn't get any pussy with a stocking over his head.
Yeah, kind of hard to get some pussy when you're dressed up like an autistic robber.
Why autistic?
I don't know, because I feel like anyone who puts where you watch the movies where it's like dumb people going to try and rob banks.
Yeah, that's old school. That's what they went pantyhose. Old school pantyhose. That doesn't mean autistic.
It might be.
Maybe. Guys, I want to talk to you about something that has changed my life. Now, I'm getting a little older, and sometimes I'm regular, sometimes I'm not. I guess that makes me irregular. And because I'm a heavy protein dude, and sometimes I forget the roughage, and so sometimes the deuces are not as satisfactory as they could be. Because a good deuce, a good number 2 is actually like you walk out of that bathroom feeling like you accomplished something. Like that was actually, I'm really proud of my good poops. I'm starting to take these, it's called turtle supplements, TRTL, and it's psyllium husks. This psyllium husk, dude, is the easiest take. I take it in the morning, I take it in the afternoon, and it is the best absolute shits of my life. It makes it easy. And some of you may be grossed out. No pushing, no stress. Just the way God intended shit to come out of your body. So go to TRTL, all caps, .store, TRTL.store. That's all caps, not the store part. And go get 25% off. Put in the promo code Josh Wolf, all caps, no space, Josh Wolf, to get 25% off. And I'll tell you what, if you get a bottle and you don't like it, send it back. send it back, and they're going to give you your money back. But I think we all know you're not going to send it back because nobody does that. Who sends it back? Take the bottle. Become regular. Turtle head on your own terms. How easy is it? 1 to 3 capsules a day. It makes it easy and smooth. No push, no struggle. You walk in and out of that bathroom with a smile. Go to TRTL, all caps, .store, promo code Josh Wolf, all caps, and get 25% off your psyllium husks supplements. I'm telling you right now, you will thank me. Just thank me when you get off the shitter. Dude, so Sinners to me, good movie, not the greatest movie.
Yeah, I had one.
But Michael B. Jordan,
Love him.
just I'm gonna see whatever movie he's in. Ooh, I also saw the new Captain America.
Oh, with
Yeah,
Mackie?
yeah. I was waiting I wasn't gonna pay for it,
No.
and it just came free on Disney. And I love Mackie. Yeah, I love Mackie. I think some of the casting in that movie was questionable. And I think Mackie is so charming. But they didn't tap into his likability as much as they could.
Like they didn't tap into it as much as they did with Chris Evans. Because like Chris Evans was super likable as Captain America.
But they also wrote him, they gave him some funnier things to
but
say.
that's what I'm saying. Is like they played more into that character. They didn't play into Mackie.
I don't think they did Anthony. I think they did him a disservice a little bit on, because he's a super charming, likable dude.
Dude, and talks in third person.
Yeah.
Anthony Mackie really likes to talk in third person, man.
But I again, I went into it with very low expectations because all I heard was this movie eats dicks.
yeah.
And I'm not of that belief. Honestly, I throw the Hulk into the dragon category. If there's a movie with the Hulk, your boy's going to see it.
Yeah, even if it's Harrison Ford.
Well, dude, he was, yeah.
How old is Harrison Ford? By the way?
He's 160 years. Yeah. Yeah.
And by the way, also I have other like
This
things
Hulk wore diapers, dude, which was
dude, no shit. Yeah. Why was like is it red like the Mega Hulk? I guess I don't know.
It's red like his constipation medicine.
I was
that's
trying
why-
to think of an old person joke. I couldn't find one.
Yeah.
His preparation H is in a red
It
cream.
was so weird for this Hulk to have crow's feet and gray hair. I was like, what?
Yeah. Gray hair on him was really an interesting move. He's so, I don't know, like other than Star Wars, I feel like, and Harrison Ford, maybe Blade Runner also, I feel like he's such a cringe actor. Is that crazy
What?
to say? Dude, my mom and I watched him.
What?
Hold on. Shut
What
up.
do you mean
Hold on,
cringe?
Hold on. Just relax. Hold on.
I need to know what you mean by cringe
I'm
first.
going to get there. There's some things he does on screen in certain movies where I'm like, oof, like, okay, I don't remember the movie, but mom and I were watching a movie with him in it, and I don't remember what the fuck it was some court case, whatever. But watching him kiss on screen,
Not a great on-screen kisser.
might be the worst on-screen kisser
terrible.
I've ever seen. Because, yeah, young Harrison Ford, even when he's kissing people, like it's cool. But like most of the movies I know him or remember him for, he's old, and it's just like an old person kissing a young person very aggressively, and I don't really enjoy it.
I would agree with you that not the best on-screen kisser.
That's the only thing that makes me cringe.
But Harrison Ford as an actor,
Love Harrison Ford,
dude,
by the way.
we were about to fight.
Love Harrison Ford. Just really don't like his on-screen romance
Yeah,
scenes.
I'm with you on that. I don't need and I
Did he have any as the Hulk?
I said this before. No, I said this before also. At a certain age, why are you having him run? It's just put him in just go to the next scene and he's in a different place.
Dude, at a certain point, just put him in a chair.
Or just get him in a golf cart or something. But
yeah, have him on wheels at all times.
it's rough watching him run.
It's bad.
Yeah.
And he still draws people in. He still draws you. And if Harrison Ford's in a movie, there's a thought. It's not like a Hulk or, superhero
I've
thing.
missed some.
But if Harrison
Fords.
Ford, you're like, okay, I'll think about that. But it's not something that drives you straight to the movie. Right.
No. At this point, I'll tell you who brings me to the movie theater. Tom Cruise.
Yep.
Because I know how much he's putting into his movie.
Mhm. Keanu Reeves.
In an action movie, Keanu Reeves.
Keanu Reeves in anything.
Nah.
Love Keanu Reeves. You watch your blasphemy.
I like Keanu Reeves.
He's great. Good dude, too.
Yes.
Outstandingly good person.
Known
to be, I think everybody knows the lore behind Keanu Reeves, but like, known to be the most sincere and nice person ever. It's one of my dreams is to meet Keanu Reeves.
Really?
I'd love to meet. Just like I don't ask pictures with people very often because I just know I don't want to break that wall and just like, I know with you, like when at your height, when like people were coming up to you, couldn't like constantly in the airport, like it was nuts. I'd rather not be the first person that does that. If someone else does it.
By the way, everybody, I'm totally okay with you coming up and asking me for a picture. I say yes to everybody.
Yeah. We both do.
Yeah.
Like, well, I'll always say yes to people.
Yeah.
It's nice also when people notice me when I'm not with my dad. So thank you to those who say hello.
Let's be honest also. This is the truth, what we're finding out. Me by myself, I don't get approached that much, but when it's me and you, people recognize you first.
Tall, slim, and handsome walks in. Everyone's looking, man.
And then they go, oh, that. But it's funny is they recognize you, but they want to talk to me.
Correct. Yeah. It's weird. It's like people are like, I didn't know it was you, but I definitely knew that was your son, but I don't want to talk to you. I still only want to talk to you. It's a really strange backhanded compliment because I'm the recognizable one.
Yeah.
But nobody wants to talk to me.
It's like Penn and Teller. You're the silent one that nobody wants to talk.
No, I'm the tall one.
Yeah.
But then people want to make the silent one talk. So they're like, hey, man, what are you doing?
I'm definitely not the silent one.
You're the smaller one, though.
Shorter.
Smaller.
Shorter.
Smaller.
I'm definitely not smaller than you.
Smaller.
I'm shorter. You don't think there's a difference between short and small?
Smaller.
I want
Go
you
to the wide camera again. Wide camera. Smaller.
I want you to please Google the definition of small and the definition of short.
Dude, this is only an argument that a small person wants to have. This is crazy.
I'm not smaller. I'm shorter. There is a difference. You
That's the way I
stop that right now.
It's only a conversation that a small person wants to have. That's
I'm
all.
not a small person.
Small or short, whatever. There's synonyms.
They're not synonyms. Maybe.
They might be. So,
well, do you consider yourself tall or big?
I'm big compared to you.
No, you're tall.
Hey, big. Yeah,
Tall.
big.
No, tall. Big is big.
No, but big could be big too.
Right. Big.
But also big. Like you're a big person.
Tall person.
Big person.
If I saw somebody who was 6'7" but skinny, I wouldn't say that's a big person. I would say that's a tall person.
Big person. Tall and big.
No, I'm right. You're just trying to be a
I'm not.
Yeah, you are.
You're still trying to cut between two words that are synonyms. Again, this is only a conversation or an argument that a small / short person would like to have.
Next.
Yeah, exactly. There we go. Moving on.
Listen, guys, I am somebody who sleeps on a ton of different mattresses all the time. I travel every week. I know what I like. I know what I don't like. I know which mattresses help me feel better when I wake up in the morning. I know which mattresses make me feel terrible. And I'm going to tell you something right now. Bear mattress, no more back pain, no body pain, no waking up in the middle of the night. The Bear mattress has been the best mattress that I have ever slept on. Nobody likes sleeping more than this guy. So here's what I'm going to offer you. You are going to get a 40% off deal right here on Hey Man. The promo code is Hey Man, all caps, HEYMAN. That's a lot. I don't know if you know math as well as I do, but 40% seems like a lot. I'd like to get 40% off a lot of things. I'm giving you that just for ordering this mattress that is going to change your life as soon as you get it. Are you still not convinced? I'll tell you what. Bear Mattress is going to let you sleep on this mattress for 120 days. And if you don't like it, they'll come pick it up and refund you your money. Now, don't do anything gross on it and then return it. Go get yourself a Bear mattress. Go get yourself 40% off. And when you wake up refreshed, if you feel guilty, just send me the 40% that you saved. It feels like a good win-win situation for everybody. You have to use my promo code, HEYMAN, HEYMAN, all caps, to get your 40% off on the very last page of the checkout. That's bearmattress.com, everybody. Anyways.
What are we talking about?
So Get Up was your...
Get Out.
Get Out.
Get Up. Get up. Let's see how small you are.
My I wanted to ask you also, because on that same topic, are there movies that everybody has seen? I know a TV show that everyone's seen that you haven't seen, which Breaking Bad. But is there a movie that everyone's seen and you have just never seen? And I can tell you two of mine.
Have you ever? Is one of yours Titanic?
Titanic and The Notebook.
Oh, I've never seen The Notebook.
I've never seen either one of those, Titanic or The Notebook. I have
Titanic.
no desire to see or need to see either one. I did just listen to a whole podcast on the Titanic and how it sank, which was fascinating.
Dude, did you see on the same note as the Titanic? I saw a news article from the Daily Mail earlier this week, and it was the dude who for the Titan, the one that went to he never planned on coming back. Like there's something behind the scenes where he knew this was a suicide mission. And he never planned on coming back.
Documentary on Netflix right now. Maybe I'll watch that.
There's an Astroworld documentary on Netflix that just came out.
I saw that.
So, okay. For those of you who don't know, my girlfriend and I, we were at Astroworld, the one where those 10 people died and there was a bunch of injuries, all that shit. The next morning, my girlfriend Maaan was the very first person to make said Astroworld TikTok. And it went bonkers. I think it was something like after like 3 days was something at like 30 million views. It went fucking nuts. She made a couple follow-up videos. They all passed a million, besides the point. Her video is now getting more traction because people are searching up Astroworld on TikTok. And her video is one of the most viewed videos of it. So everyone's coming back to it. And her video is recirculating through TikTok again.
No shit.
It's fucking crazy. And everyone's like, what? We saw the documentary. Like, what actually happened? Was it this? Was it that? And it's like, one day maybe I'll make an actual like diagram TikTok video about it, because as someone who worked production.
What about with like puppets?
No, because I would literally want to set up a diorama, an overview of how it looked, because I'll tell you everywhere where it went wrong.
You know who would make the best one of those?
Huh.
Ray.
Oh my God, Racif? Yeah, I might call Ray.
Dude, Ray.
Dude, yeah, but also like whenever I try to explain it to people, I just use whatever's like near me. So sometimes there's like forks or just weird diagrams. But I would love to make one and show people where I.
Are you gonna watch the documentary?
No, I was fucking there.
Yeah, but aren't you curious to see if they capture what really happened?
I know what really happened.
You're not. I get that, dude. I'm asking you. Aren't you curious to see what their interpretation or where they got their sources, or if it contradicts, or if aren't you curious at all what they're putting out there?
Yeah, I mean, I guess honestly, I didn't know about it until this morning. I didn't know there was an Astroworld documentary.
Yeah,
literally until my girlfriend was like, "Yeah, my video's recirculating," and I was like, "No shit." So I have no idea what it says in the documentary. Am I curious? Yeah, sure, but like, also part of me just doesn't need to relive it.
Mm-hmm.
I don't really care what the sources are anymore. I don't really care. Okay, let me rephrase that. I care about what happened. I care for the 10 people who lost their lives. I care for those families. I care for everybody who got injured. I care for everybody who walked away with some PTSD, because I know damn sure I did. And everyone was like, a lot of people there were like, you shouldn't have come then. You're too much of a pussy. Like, he rages. It's not, I've been to multiple Travis concerts before that. I was at his first Coachella when he was there. Not his headliner, but his first one. It was fucking nuts. But I was able to move in the crowd. I had fun. I was able to like still be like a person. That was not what happened at this concert. So I don't feel the need to go and relive a traumatic event for me.
Yeah, I totally get that.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
There's no point. I'm good. I know what happened in my book. I think it was a fucking terrible tragedy. I truthfully think, from what I know, just from what I saw on the surface, I think Trav did what he could for those families. He paid for the funerals. He did everything he could, medical bills. He provided therapy for anyone who was there, a month free therapy through his organization for anyone who attended. I think he did everything that he could have. And for that, that's where I leave it. That case for me closes. Unless something pops up on TikTok that entices me to be like, this just in. Maybe then I'll watch it. But as of right now, I'm good. I'm good on reliving that event.
Yeah,
for sure. I didn't sleep for like a month, dude.
Dude, I totally get that. And then that's why I was asking if you were gonna. I get it.
Maybe if something comes up on the internet where it's like this is something new from the thing that we didn't know, maybe I'll tune in. But like, I'm good. I I know the base of what happened. That's all I need to know.
Dude, I'll tell you what, one thing that you should watch that I'm so late to the party is Adolescence, which is also on Netflix.
Okay. Well, what is it about?
It's the most uniquely shot show. One camera, 0 cuts. It's how I wish everything was shot.
One camera,
Zero cuts. So it's shot in real time. It's like you're shooting a play. So many moving parts. And, we read about it. They would start and do the whole thing. So if midway through the show, somebody forgot a line or whatever, I'm sure the director was like, don't go fuck. Just keep going.
Yeah.
We may have to use this take. And if there's a line where there's an important part of information that they forgot, like in a play, you can't stop. Sometimes you just have to interrupt the other person and go, oh, hey, I forgot. This is Mrs. Kansas, in case you two hadn't met. Right? Because they hadn't introduced, right?
Right.
And there were a couple things in there where when I was watching afterwards, I was like, I bet you that was one of those times where that was something they were like, oh, by the way, I forgot to say this. So it made it super lifelike. The acting had to be so good, dude. You can't be like, nah, I didn't get that emotional beat. And it's so emotional because it's about a 13-year-old boy. The first basic scene you see is police breaking into this house and taking a 13-year-old out of his bed to arrest him for murder.
Oh, I've seen clips of this. I did want to watch this. Yeah.
Fuck.
It's they're British, right? They're English? Yeah. Okay.
So good.
Yeah, I did hear that was
really so good.
Talking about.
I can't believe how good it is.
Yeah.
Last thing, Father's Day this Sunday.
Yep.
And
you're not getting anything.
I don't particularly, no offense, need to see you. I see you a lot.
I'm going to see you on Father's Day.
Yeah.
We're going to be flying in from New York.
We just don't need to hang out.
No, I'm good.
Yeah. You good with that? Did you just salute me?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. You know what's funny to me about the difference between Father's Day and Mother's Day? Is Mother's Day is like, I'm going to go to the spa. I'm going to have a me day. Right?
Yeah.
But Father's Day is like, what should we all do together? No. Why do you get a day by yourself? And then somehow on Father's Day, it's let's all get together and do something. No, you know what you can do for me?
Fuck off.
Get out of the house.
Yeah.
Go somewhere with everybody else. I remember also when everyone was...
You ain't got to tell me twice.
Dude, when everyone was little, and for Father's Day, somehow we ended up at, it'd be like, we're going to your favorite restaurant. And we'd walk into a place I'd never been to before. I'm like, is this my favorite restaurant? This vegan Mexican joint? I've never, do you know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely.
Mother's Day and Father's Day, the expectations are so different.
That's okay.
Yeah. But I don't need anything from you.
You weren't getting anything, so that's cool with me, actually.
Huh? You hadn't planned on giving me anything?
No.
What?
You don't shoot, double bubble gum anymore, so I can't get you anything for gifts.
Dude,
for Christmas and for his birthday or for Hanukkah or
anything.
Father's Day, any event where he would want a gift, we used to just get him 2 bags of 200 count of double bubble gum.
Yeah.
And it would last him maybe a month. And then that was it.
I'm a pretty simple guy. And I don't need my kids getting me gifts.
Yeah. Oh, some cool news for me though. So there's a weed company that I like. They sell vapes. Back in 2015 when weed got legalized and I was 18, this was the top weed cartridge that you could get on the market.
Yeah.
It was the best tasting one. It was $70. There was no tax. So it was $70. It was really, really awesome. It's called Brass Knuckles. Brass Knuckles are awesome. I met one of the head of their teams.
When?
At a dispensary. I was at Medizen. Shout out my boy Trey from Planet 13. He's the GM there now. So I went over there to say what's up to him, see his new spot. And I met her as she was walking out. She said, DM me on Instagram. I'll send you some merch and we'll talk about what to do in the future. And so I hopefully am going to do some collaborative stuff with
what's it called?
Brass Knuckles in the future.
That's awesome. What a cool name.
Dude, there stuff. Here's the thing. When I was first smoking weed, you could only get the cart that you then had to screw onto a battery.
Yeah.
They now make Brass Knuckles disposable. So they come just on it and you just charge. Dude, I sent a picture to Riley, who we called on the podcast before.
Yeah.
I sent a picture to him. I go, dude. And he goes, is that a Brass Knuckles disposable? I was like, dude, what a time to be alive. He said, that's the coolest thing I've ever seen. It was like a little fangirl. Like, I'm a huge fan of this brand, which is super cool also.
You know, it's funny.
And to have them be like, come on, let's do something.
Yeah, dude, it's super
awesome.
cool. Congratulations.
Thanks. Yeah, it happened this morning.
A couple things I forgot. First of all, I want to congratulate my friends over at Absolute Extracts. They got their company back. But long story.
Okay.
But ABX, guys, if you're in California, because I think it's the only place to sell, but ABX, absolutely, those edibles, coming from somebody who takes edibles, guys,
Listen to the man.
without a doubt, the best edible you're ever. Now, if you want your edible to be like also candy, this isn't it.
No.
But I need 100 milligrams, so I don't need to eat a full,
10 pieces.
2,000 calories and 97 grams of sugar. This is, a tiny capsule with THC oil and coconut oil, and it hits you hard and fast. It is, if you're in California, the single best, bar none, edible you're going to get. But I think I made a decision this week.
Oh.
This is kind of a big one. I think last week and I'm going to figure out what else to do. I think officially my last high life.
It's crazy because like we kind of chatted about that, but it's crazy to say because literally, I don't know, a month ago, you were so excited about it.
Well,
you said you had a great time the last time you did it and you were having a really good time and you had some things in the works where you were going to do it at a dispensary. Like there's a lot of things going on with it. What changed?
I did one last week. In part of, so for those of you who are listening who don't know, I did a show and I started it around 2017 in the backyard at Woodley.
Yeah.
And there were at that time maybe 8-9 people on the stream with me. And then over quarantine, we got it up to like 200,000 live viewers.
Crazy.
And then Facebook kind of took me down and then I just stopped. And I never got back into it like I did over when we were there on Carson. But what made that show great, and here's what I'm discovering about myself as an artist. I never go back. I can't go backwards. I can never recapture who I was then. And what made it great at the time was who I was then. And the silly characters I was doing and all of the accents and the drawing and how wacky I made the show.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not, whenever I get on the High Live, I'm just not that guy. And what made the show was that.
Yeah.
Was that. And so I haven't tapped back into that guy. And so I just have found about myself, like people have asked me about going back and doing Controlled Chaos. I'm not good at going back.
Yeah.
Artistically.
That makes sense.
I loved it. Those are such crazy chapters in my life and such amazing memories. But I just creatively, when I'm doing something, I'm that person in that moment for that period of time. Mm-hmm. But when I move on and start doing other stuff, I just can't tap into that person anymore.
Yeah. And
that's the thing. Like, if I'm gonna do High Live, I need to do it as that dude. Mm-hmm. Like I remember there was a character I did a bunch of different characters.
Ton.
But one of the characters I did was this.
Did you see that? I went to itch my ear.
Oh, that's hilarious. One of the weird characters I did was this guy named Cookie Man. And Cookie Man was angry, dude. Cookie Man had a lot of anger in him. But it came out as just this dude, and he had a cowboy hat and weird glasses and fur coat. And dude,
that sounds like what you wear on like stage. Yeah. You just described yourself.
But Cookie Man would get real close to the camera. He was real mad, dude. He was mad about people hiding his cookies. But he talked very seriously about absurd shit. But it was all having to do with cookies. But dude, it was an outlet. Cookies, whatever I was really angry about at the time, Cookie Man was my therapy. And I said what I wanted to say about things and people through cookies.
Through cookies?
I just used, used the word cookies, but for other things. Got it. But I had so many different characters. I wore boas and weird costumes and I had the freedom to smoke while I did it. I was outside. I can't do that here. It's important to have smoking baby hand and a lot of different things happening. And all of those things made up the show.
Right.
and what I loved about it.
Mhm.
And I haven't found that energy again. So I think what I need to do is just put it away. And it's the only thing that I've ever in my life tried to go back multiple times and do.
You have.
And I honestly know that if I was consistent about it, I could build it back up to where it was. Just don't know if that's who I am anymore.
Yeah, you also don't want to be that ridiculously high. I remember at Carson when you had that many people. I had to
Dude.
come help you upstairs.
Yeah, I was
And clean everything.
part of.
There was children books in the backyard. There was markers. I remember I used to scare you when you were doing them too.
Yeah.
And I would drop like a pen from like the balcony above
Yeah.
you. God, I wish I could find one of those clips.
Dude, it was a wild ride.
Yeah.
But I hold myself up to a certain standard in the show and the energy, and I'm just not hitting it.
Yeah.
So I think this is a hard thing. It's a hard decision for me to make because the idea of it's the only thing, like I said, and I've done a ton of things, dude,
Mhm.
creatively, tried a ton of things. It's the only thing I've tried to go back and do because there's so many elements I love. I love smoking baby hand.
Yeah.
I love getting really high and reading children's books. I think it's really funny.
Yep.
I love that me and my guest do sketches of each other. Really funny.
Yeah.
All this stuff is really funny, but I'm not getting the same satisfaction.
Yeah. Okay.
And listen, what's crazy is I'm saying this out loud, but in my head, I'm thinking, well, maybe,
Yeah.
because I loved doing it almost as much as anything I've ever done.
Right. But also, again, it would require you to be extremely high. I just don't think that's in your repertoire right now. I mean, mushrooms, it might be.
Yeah, but here's the question also. Do I need to be that high to make the show entertaining? Is that part of the deal?
Yeah, I guess we'll have to figure out if that's what people were tuning in for.
I don't think so. I think the higher I get, the worse it is. But we'll see.
Okay.
But I don't know. I can't believe I said that. I might have to. I don't want to unretire like Brett Favre and Tom Brady, but
I wouldn't be shocked if you did.
I wouldn't either. But as of now,
It's just how many? Because Brett Favre did a couple. Just don't do it like Brett Favre.
Brett Favre did too.
Yeah.
Brady only did one.
Brady only needed one.
One ring, one unretire.
Yep.
Dude, if you're going to unretire, you better get a ring.
Oh, absolutely.
How do you feel, by the way, about Aaron Rodgers going to the Steelers?
Wait. When did Aaron Rodgers go to the... Oh, wait, no, that was a little while ago.
Like
Yeah.
two days ago.
Oh, that was 2 days ago?
Yeah.
I guess I didn't see that in all honesty. I usually get updates on my phone. I'm
Yeah.
actually really good with it. Yeah, I don't know. I think Aaron Rodgers and Mike Tomlin are going to be a really interesting duo. I think Aaron Rodgers is going to have to... I think he's going to realize that he is not top dog with Mike Tomlin as the head coach over there.
I think Mike Tomlin I think he is a good enough coach to understand that he's got a different type of dude, but I also think he runs a certain, and I'm sure they had the conversation.
Oh, yeah.
There's no way Tomlin is a straightforward guy. He was like, listen, man, I'm going to let you be you, but no, this is how I do things.
Yeah.
Can we do this together?
None of that woo-woo shit or like crazy bad,
Yeah.
like media over here. Like,
Yeah. Let's try to keep it straight and narrow.
yeah, 100%. That's why I think like when you said, wait, who's still over there? Isn't Russ still over there? Or
Russ is with the Giants.
Giants. That's right.
Fields is with the Jets. Yeah. So
Oh, great. We get to light up. Oh, no. Well, yeah, we'll still be better than the Jets, hopefully.
Patriots?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think
Look,
this year could be.
If we lose every game, but we beat the Jets both games, I'm good.
Are you?
Yep.
It doesn't make me feel good.
It makes me feel good because we beat the New York teams and we get a good draft pick. Hello.
Dude.
So
And I also know, did you watch the Thunder and the Pacers last game?
no.
Well, okay.
I missed out on it.
I won that first game. I took the Pacers with the points and for them to win.
Nice. Good one.
Yeah.
Thunder won the second game by a resounding amount.
Yeah. Do you want to know how much money I won?
Game 3's tonight, right?
Do you want to know how much money I won?
On the first game?
Yeah.
2,500?
No, I'm not willing to bet that much.
Oh.
I mean, I am on a season-long bet.
Yeah.
This year,
How much did you win?
$1,000.
Oh.
I was at the airport flying to LA, and let's get into LA here right after this.
Oh, yeah.
I was at the airport, dude, and I was sat down on my machine,
Mm-hmm.
and I put on my music, the mindful music, And I was like, okay, this is my machine, dude. And I'm going to hit the jackpot. Guys, listen to me right now. I know you think this is fucking crazy. I'm going to hit that jackpot.
I honestly, I kind of believe him.
I have seen in my head multiple times me and you jumping around in the airport by this machine. I'm going to hit it.
I can't wait to get my 50 grand too.
So
Which you shook on.
let's get back to that after. But
No.
I hit the gold spin back-to-back spins.
Oh, wow. What'd you get?
I hit a $55
Oh.
on the, yeah, I was mad.
For the first one?
On the first one. And then I got a 2-timer.
Oh, nice. What'd you get on the 2-timer?
$50.
Oh, you hit a 25?
No, $50.
Oh, and then 100.
Yeah.
Oh, that's, hey.
And I hit a 55,
And then 100.
100, and then 2 spins later, I hit a $38 and I just cashed out.
Yeah, that's a good run.
Yeah. But
38. Oh, like a line hit.
Yeah. So I probably cleared like $120.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
Yeah, dude. But I think I'm up. I know this sounds weird, but I think I'm up on slot machines.
I'm not. Your
No,
boy's down
you're not.
bad. Big time down bad.
I think I'm gonna start keeping track, but I think I'm up.
Well, I feel like, not to rat you out, but like the cash you have at home is cash you've got from the weekend and won on a slot machine, right?
Yes.
Pretty good.
Yeah, I'm up.
Just count that. That's how much, that's probably half of that is you're up.
Yeah, but I honestly, none of that's all gone.
No, it's not.
Yeah.
I thought you said it was for your trip to Greece.
Yeah, I had to pay for that.
You paid for it with miles.
Well, there's some things that I had to put down for.
Oh.
Yeah, and then I put the rest in the bank.
Oh.
Like a grown-up.
Yeah, that's not what you told me you were going to do.
Yeah, no, well, I rethought it once I saw that you knew where the money was.
I'm not a drug addict anymore, damn it. I'm not stealing money anymore.
I was like, does he know where the money is? Yeah, I should probably put this in the bank.
Yeah, I was at your house by myself for a day.
Yeah, I actually.
Did you go check some things to make sure I didn't take anything when you got back? Because I didn't look for anything. I stayed on the couch playing video games the entire time. Did you be honest? Did you go check some things to make sure? Did you hide some things on purpose to see if I would find something?
No. I can't live my life like that. If you're going to take something, you're going to take something. You know what I mean? I can't. Plus, we got a safe, so you don't know the combination of that.
That's true. That's true.
Yeah, we got one not too long ago.
Probably right before I got to the house.
Yeah.
That sounds about right. Yeah.
No, we
Dick-
didn't. We
dick
didn't.
move. That is a dick move.
We didn't. But I do want to say, guys, I was in LA and such a clear example to me of how overhyped and over dramatized things can get. First of all, everyone's like, are you safe in LA? I'm like, guys, what's happening in LA is a 5-block radius downtown.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. It's not all over LA. And I think there's zero excuse for vandalizing and all this stuff. Zero excuse.
Yep.
And so nobody's out here. Zero excuse for violence on either side. Zero excuse. But the amount of cars that have been burned or things that have been looted is significantly less than when sports teams win championships.
Yeah.
And we do not deploy the Marines and the National Guard.
Yeah.
And so like I was there yesterday. I've spoken to a lot of people who have been there. Are there unruly people who try to capitalize on situations where they can put on masks and tear shit up? Yes.
100%.
That is gonna happen no matter who protests at any time. Hello, January 6th. There's going to be people who are there for the chaos and the destruction.
Yeah.
Period. Doesn't matter when you get big groups of people together. Now, sometimes it takes people in the big groups to be like, fuck you guys. And generally, that's why the bad shit happens at night.
Yeah.
That's when the bad actors come out.
Except January 6th.
Except, yeah, they did it
In broad daylight.
Okay. So, point being. So not excusing any of but guys, what you're reading about a city in chaos the escalation of tension is by armed troops is what it is. And some of the videos of, look, man, there's definitely, but the videos of the cars on fire are getting way more press than videos of people who were there who's supposed to be de-escalating, keeping the peace, legitimately shooting those rubber bullets
At reporters,
at just people.
at people. Have you seen the multiple clips? That
Yeah.
that guy shot the New York reporter, the New York Post reporter, on the Australian reporter got shot in the leg.
It's
Did you see that video that mom sent us of that woman just trying to get home from
Yeah.
the police blockade? She's not armed. She has nothing in her hands. And that dude is trigger happy and shoots her straight in the stomach with a rubber pellet.
Yep.
It is.
This is what I'm saying. So depending on what side that you align yourself, it depends on what videos you're going to see in your algorithm.
Oh, I'm seeing all of them. I'm seeing both sides.
And so there is no excuse for the violence, but guys, the idea that there's some people who are like, well, everyone who's protesting is an illegal immigrant. That is false.
Super
Categorically incorrect.
Catastrophically false.
And I think the idea that we are somehow trying to label, it's obviously not popular, everybody, whatever, there's no objectivity in America right now, but objectively, this policy is unpopular with a lot of people. Look at all of the protests. And I know some people are paid there's no way all of these people are paid protesters.
No, paid protesters.
Yeah, there's a lot of, anytime there's a protest with a lot of people, the other side says, well, they're paid protesters. Okay.
Sure.
Or it's just not a popular, right? And here's where I come down on everything, guys. I categorically also reject, because I know a lot of people who voted for the president, that everyone who votes for Trump is Nazi and racist. I categorically reject that, because I know a lot of people who voted for him because they were like, I know what she's bringing to the table. I hope he brings the kind of change that I want. Okay. And so I categorically reject anybody being like everybody, but even if, I know a lot of comics who are not racist or Nazis. They just value different things than I value. Okay. But even though, this is where I have to draw the line, even though, because I see all this shit online, even though you're not a Nazi, you're on the same side as them. So even policy aside, it doesn't matter to me what this dude's policies are. It doesn't matter to me what Harris's policies would have been. If you're on the side with the Nazis and you're voting for the same person, I can't be on the side voting or with the Nazis. I can't. Not calling you a Nazi, everybody, but you're on the same team as them.
Yeah.
And so that for me is a non-starter. Even if I hated the other side, I still would just be like, well, then I just can't vote. Or even if I hate the other side, I still have to vote with the other side because I can't vote with the Nazis. That feels like to me, even I'm like, I must be missing something, because even if I believed in Trump, right? And I was like, oh, I love all his messages. Well, why are the Nazis voting with him? What am I missing? Even if I didn't know what I was missing, I was like, well, I must be missing something, because these people that I vehemently disagree on about everything love him. I can't in good conscience vote with them.
Yeah.
That's basically where I lie.
Here's the thing, man. It's like, we talked about this off the podcast the other day, and it's like, you're like, yeah, I know a bunch of people who voted for Trump and who aren't a racist. It's like, cool. Yeah. Like, is every person who votes for Trump a racist? No.
No.
I will get with that. But is every person who votes for Trump, whether they want to agree with what I'm about to say or not, is every person that voted for Trump still voting for someone who morally who morally doesn't stand for equal rights for all types of people, for someone who is supported by the Nazis, someone who's supported by people who stand on homophobia and transphobia and all things that aren't the white Aryan race. Yes. If you voted for Trump, you support a man who discriminates and who ran his policy based on fear and is a fucking fascist. He's getting ICE agents to unlawfully walk into people's restaurants, into people's homes, and they had people waiting at high school graduations.
Yeah. My only
to rip them out of their life.
My only pushback on that is this.
Put them in a camp.
I know. My only pushback on that is this. There are a lot of people who don't feel like he is that guy.
It's so dumb.
Okay. I'm not going to say that. There are a lot of people who don't feel that way. They feel like, and I don't know what this has to do with being woke, but they feel like if you're illegal, you need to go. And so they don't feel like that. They don't feel like he's that guy. I look, man, to me, what's more clear and what's more scary is going after higher education institutions, going after the law and lawyers, and going after press that says things you don't like. This is all suppression of ideas and thoughts that are contrary to yours.
This is a dictatorship.
Which is the opposite of what we are supposed to have. I have always said, like, when over COVID, when people were getting canceled, and remember that dude Milo, whatever the fuck, he's I forget, but a very right-wing guy who was going around college campuses and speaking, and people were stopping him from speaking, Jordan Peterson. And I'm anti that too, man. You can't suppress voices that you don't like. As a matter of fact, that's the way you make them grow. I blame the incredibly overly woke group for a lot of what's happening now, for suppressing voices who were just different than theirs. And because they were, dude, do you know how many people, and I count Rogan in this group. Rogan was about as liberal and a Democrat as you're going to get, but he just had some different ideas. And when you have different ideas and people just call you a Nazi for it, eventually you're like, fuck it, then fuck you. Fuck you people for not letting me have a different voice or a different idea. I guess I am over here because go eat dicks, right? And so that happened to a lot of people I know who just didn't, they're not racist and they're not Nazis. They just want to tell this joke, or they have different ideas of how things should be done. That does not make them, just because a person, for example, doesn't want a trans person in women's high school sports, does not make them anti-trans. Right? And that's what they would say. I'm not anti-trans. I just don't think that these people who are biologically male should be playing sports with these biological females. Right? Yeah. And so there's a whole group of people who got slowly pushed from the far left.
Yeah, okay. But you saying you're blaming the woke for what's going on right now.
Oh, they have a lot of...
But hold on, let me just clarify so I can just make sure I'm hearing what that said. You're blaming the woke for the fascism and the racism that are coming from the right?
Extreme.
That's what I want to clarify. That's what I want to know. That's what it sounded like.
Extreme breeds extreme. Right?
But the racism and the fascism has always been there. It's not breeding. No. That's always been a thing. I
understand. But a movement, a huge woke movement, which is what we had, which is if you don't think like us, we're going to dox you. We're going to call you racist. We're going to call you Nazi. We're going to call you homophobic. If you don't believe, if you don't call me them there, you are anti whatever. It pushes people further away from being like, no. It's not in my top 10 of important things to refer to you as they. I have kids to feed and I have to put people in college, right? So you're going to put me on blast for saying, that's not something I respect what you want to do. I don't really care about it. And it pushes people further to the other side.
I've had this conversation. It's funny. I had this conversation with Maaan pretty recently. And I think that it's to blame on both sides, because I do think I agree. I said this the other day, if there are some, and this is coming from a straight white man, and I mean this with all love to the queer community. I have nothing against anyone. I think there are some people of the queer community who don't give any leeway to those who aren't educated enough. You know what I mean? Like, if someone accidentally misgenders or pronouns are wrong, and it's like, for me, as someone who may not be as educated enough, for me, it's, in my eyes, it's up to you to be like, hey, just so you know, this is what it is, and this is how I like to be addressed, and this and that. And I think it can all be done in a civil matter. However, I think the reason why, and I will put myself in the woke group because this is my generation and I side with these people. I think the hostility comes from the older generation not wanting to know. They don't want to get to know what is going. They think it's their way or the highway. And this is how I grew up. This is what it's like. This is what it's supposed to be. How you think is wrong. So that drives us so far to the other side to then combat with these people.
Okay.
I think it could be evened out on both sides.
For sure.
I think for sure in that sense, if I accidentally misgendered a trans person and they were like, hey, I'm actually not this, I'm this, I'd be like, oh my God, I'm so sorry. I appreciate you for educating me and letting me know. Instead of there having to be some sort of verbal argument. I do think that there can be work on both sides, the left and the right, for that specific thing. But I do think on your same thing of saying the woke drove the right, well, the right drove the left. Because there are some people so stuck in their ways, but they don't want to, they don't think that there is anything to be educated on in order to learn. Do you know what I mean, though?
Bush Jr., no Bush Jr., no Obama. He was so bad that he pushed people so far the other way. Yeah. No Bush Jr., but no Obama, no Trump. Yeah. Right. And so what happens is and so my point is, like, it's and no matter who's in office, it points out the hypocrisy and the lack of objectivity of a lot of people in the country. Because look, man, objectively, if Biden had done half of the things Trump is doing with the Constitution and the law, he would have been impeached by now, without a doubt.
Oh, dude,
this parade,
the $134 million, I think, not my birthday parade.
I think it's less. I think it's like 50 million. But regardless,
it's okay. That
money should go straight to the VA, to the veterans,
to the hunger epidemic that we have.
If you're spending that kind of military money, put it into the VA and for the medicine and for the treatment and for jobs of the veterans. Dude, this is the veterans. Yeah. And like, so there's so much hypocrisy and it's such a bummer. But don't believe the hype, everybody, about LA. And also believe that nothing escalates tensions than 1,000 armed people staring you down, shooting tear gas and bullets at you when the majority of people are just hanging out.
Yeah. And I also want to say this, though, but believe this hype when I say this. I am from Los Angeles. As much as I dislike that city at some points, that city is where I grew up. The people that I grew up with, the people that I've known, all of those things, I want you to believe this hype. I love that city, and fuck ICE. If you support some sort of that, of people walking into establishments, into homes, to high school graduations, and dragging parents, siblings, kids out of their fucking homes and putting them in camps, you can join ICE and go fuck yourself. And I mean this, and I want this, and I'm going to post this clip because this is what I want my platform to be also known as. I don't want this to be why can't we all just get along and happy-go-lucky? Because this is not what they want. They want us to be divided. And I want you guys to know that this country was built on the back of immigrants. And I stand with every single one of those and every one of those people and families who are going through the bullshit that they're going through right now in Los Angeles. And I want to say that we're not going to stand for this.
Dude, here's the thing. I agreed with him about the border. Okay? I agreed with him. But if you look at actual numbers, Obama deported way more people.
Sure.
Even Biden deported more people. This is what happens when you have a dude who's media savvy and dude, he's making television. Yeah. This is television. This is a bully blowing up his chest and showing what he thinks looks like strength. And it's a problem when he comes out and goes, we're having a military parade and any protesters will be met.
With heavy force.
That is not America, guys. Whether you think they should be protesting this or not, or whether you think these people hate the country, this is what the country, what makes it different and unique is that we are allowed to speak. So to hear him squash reporters that say things they don't like, to sue networks and to get rid of the AP and all that stuff, and to go after lawyers and in the courts is alarming to me, because this is why we have checks and balances. And what is even more alarming is hearing people talk about how if he wants to be dictator, we would like that. This is scary times. And unfortunately, it's going to take Republicans
to fix it,
to be brave enough. And I don't know that there is anybody out there right now
with enough nuts to stand up to him.
I can imagine, dude,
there just isn't. But
it's political suicide, and there's going to be threats to your family, and he's going to publicly dox you and call. What's scary, dude, is that across the administration, anybody that has a different voice, they're calling radical, dangerous, left, radical. So you dehumanize a whole group of people to his supporters. They're evil. They're trying to destroy our country. What they're doing is they're pitting the middle class against poor people. They're making the middle class think the poor people are coming for all their shit. Dude, that's such a weird thing. While the rich are getting richer, but they're making the middle class punch down. And so it's a scary time. I unfortunately believe that level heads, it'll be hard in today's current times with the phone and people believing whatever is on their stream and AI and the way the brain is wired. I find it difficult to believe. I don't know a way out of it.
Yep.
I think there's going to have to be some unfortunate, heavy scale violence in this country for people to come together.
Yep.
And I think that is really a fucking straight up bummer. But it is going to, the only way things change is when people on your team hold you accountable.
Yep. But that's the thing, is no one has.
Well, nobody has. He's a fucking, and has been his whole life. And this is another thing I've said, everybody. I don't like bullies, man. I don't like bullies. And I think bullies are cowards. And so it's a bummer. It's a bummer. And like I said, dude, the close the border, that I could not agree with him more on closing the border. But that means Canada too, everybody. Like, we have to just slow down. I think right now there's probably way more bad shit coming across northern border
because I was looking
than there is the southern border. And but like, and I don't mean stop Canadians, but I mean like make it tougher for people who are coming into the country illegally to get here.
Yeah.
I
think it's also, I'm going to say one more note on this as to why it's just a medieval thing, and then we're going to end because it's time for us to get out of here.
Okay.
And also, on the same note of fuck ICE, if you support them showing up to courthouses and waiting outside for people who are legally trying to go through the process to become Americans, to then rip them out while their lawyers are gone and then deport them and put them into a camp.
But
it's people.
It's theater. It's theater, guy. It's theater, dude.
It's
theater.
Okay, but it's theater for us, but it's real life for these human beings.
I know.
So like,
no, I mean, it's theater. When I mean it's theater, I mean, that's why it's being done like this.
I understand that, but like, but it's theater, but real life. This is really happening around our country. I just don't like you saying it's theater.
But he's using it for theater, dude. He's using it for show. It's all showman stuff.
Yeah. Let's use it for show. I just didn't like you saying it's theater. But I know what you mean.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, like, in my brain, it didn't sound right.
And here's the thing, dude. I'm not against deporting criminals.
I'm not against deporting criminals.
That's
criminals.
The problem is that's not what they're doing.
No, they're just deporting anybody.
If you're going to a work site and you're getting rid of these people who are paying taxes, there's got to be a look, even if you're like, they're here illegally, I don't know what that is. I don't know if it's a felony. Is coming into the country a felony illegally? I think it's like a class 2 or 3 misdemeanor.
It's a civil.
Yeah, I think it's
a
like
civil suit.
I think it's like jaywalking. Or
Yeah,
something.
it is. It is. It's Maaan and I literally talked about this last night.
So I think the show of force for people who are on work sites, for people who are coming out of the gym, I think that is wholly unnecessary, and it is intended to spread fear. You don't need 10 masked, armed dudes, masked and armed, who don't have to identify themselves, is scary, to grab a woman who's coming out of a building.
Yep.
You actually could just have 2 people be like, hey, we got to bring you down. We're going to give you a class 2 misdemeanor ticket.
Yeah.
You have time. If you don't pay I don't know how that all works, but like this show, guys, even if you're for it, you're there. It's trying to sow fear. And I don't think anything is done constructively through fear.
I have 2 more things also. Sorry.
Yeah.
Did you also see there was a clip floating around TikTok and Instagram of a guy, an ICE agent, but he has a white supremacy tattoo?
I did see that.
Did you also see the ICE agents in an elevator holding someone and waiting to go down the elevator and hear one of them scream, "We are Gestapo"?
No, and
Which is, for those you don't know, the Nazi police.
One of the reasons it's hard for me, the tattoo and the Gestapo, is I just don't trust anything I see anymore.
Okay.
Do you know what I mean? It's hard for me. It'd be so easy for somebody to make those videos. So I try not to overreact on that shit. But what we're seeing in LA, the things you're seeing, the that are being shown across the board, some people showing the video as positive, some as negative, same video, that I know is happening. So I can comment on that.
Yeah.
And guys, I consider myself a pretty level-headed dude. And I'm definitely not a Democrat, and I'm definitely not a Republican. I am a best option guy. Who's best for the country? But one thing you'll never see me doing is standing on the same side of the Red Rover game as the Nazis.
Facts.
That's it, man. That's it. If I can't be on the same side as the racists, I cannot stand there with them.
No, we never will.
Even if that means I'm like, I don't agree with what the fuck this side is talking about, but I can't stand over there with Adolf.
Yeah.
So
Facts.
That's where I'm at.
And as always, we did get a little political, not even political. It was a little, but
I don't consider this politics, oddly enough. I consider it about being human beings. And look, man, you want to deport people and you want to deport criminals, I'm on board. And we should be able to differentiate. And you want to just deport everyone who's here illegally? Okay. I'm not going to argue with that too.
Let's do it if you want to do it.
But there's got to be different levels between kicking out somebody who's been convicted of murder or dealing drugs or sex trafficking and just somebody who's been here 10 years with a husband and 3 kids who's paying taxes. That person does not deserve to be treated for a class whatever misdemeanor the same way as this MS-13 who you're assuming everybody is.
Yep.
And by the way, man, when houses stop getting built and you don't get your strawberries
and your lawn stops getting cut, you don't got good fruits in your... Yeah, it's going to be an interesting time for y'all.
All right.
But as always, thank you guys for tuning in. We appreciate y'all. As always, none of this is possible without you guys. comedianjoshua.com for tour dates and tickets. Don't go to third-party sites. Go to the website. Albany, you'll hear this. We'll be with you guys this weekend. Louisville, we're with you guys next weekend. Josh Wolf Comedy on all platforms. It's Jake Wolf on TikTok, Jake_Wolf on Instagram. And as always, got 2 new ones for you today. Do something nice for someone. Tell somebody you love them. Fuck ICE and fuck Donald Trump. See you guys later.
Hey, if you like this podcast you just watched, you're going to love the one I'm popping up in your face right now. Check it out.